This is the soap we're going to use today. It's been soaking in just cold water, and we're going to do an experiment. I'm going to redo yesterday's shave. The only difference is the temperature of the water. It's been soaking for a little bit. The brush is another Silvertip. This is the Frank Shaving Silvertip. I've been very happy with it so far. Just a few shaves in it, and it's working well. This is my Grande, Fatip Grande, and it's an open comb razor. As you can see, it's a great combination of efficiency and yet smoothness. It's not really aggressive, but it cuts really well. And the only issue there, sometimes people have finish problems with it, where they'll get one that maybe isn't quite finished right, with the plating maybe or something like that, but they're just about $25, $23. And it's plated over brass, and so that's potentially a lifetime razor for you and the next person you pass it on to. And so I think it's worth it. It does take a little longer, and I want to do this for you live. This does not have, unlike the Tech I shaved with the other day, a positive, lock that holds the blade exactly in the right place. So while it's out, I might as well show you. This is the blade that I'm getting so many uses on. I'll put the reflection. You can see the build up and stuff. The Nacet, and I've got 71. 71 shaves in it. So today is 72. So anyway, we put the blade on the top cap, then we put the base plate on, and then the handle. And I'd like to do it just until it kind of starts to touch, and then flip it over, and we'll look at it and just make sure that, and there we go. That one was one of the faster ones. Sometimes it takes a second to get the blade right, but I think it's worth it. Especially if I was going to pick a razor that was like under the $30 mark, and roll with it for the rest of my life. This is one of the top candidates right now. There's some vintage Gillettes that might come into play as well. So the Nacet here. 71 uses. I forgot to put my brush in the water. I like to soak mine before I use them. It's optional, not mandatory. Fill them up with a little water, and then I jostle it around to kind of get some water flow going. All right. I have my lather bowl here. I'm going to put a little water on my face. So yesterday, my shave was great. My lather was awesome from Williams. I loaded for 60 seconds, and that was on a puck that had been soaking in hot water for a few minutes. Today it's soaking in cold water for a few minutes, and I'm going to load for that same 60 seconds. Yesterday, I had plenty of great lather to do 3 passes, and I had maybe 2 or 2.5 passes of lather left over that went unused. So I'm going to see if the temperature of the water plays any difference, makes any difference in how much lather I get. So that's what we'll do today. All right, and I was using a Silvertip, very much the same size as the one yesterday. So most of the other pieces of the puzzle are the same and consistent. So just like yesterday, I'm going to pour out the bloom water. And there's my little puck in there. All right, and 1 minute of loading. And I'm going to pull this out, jostle it just a little bit, and get the right amount of water in there, at least what my guess is. Oh, and then there's the 01 in the minute mark right there. So let's stir until we come around to 01 again. Puck is loose in there, and so that's why I'm having to load for longer than usual. I have shaved with this older blade with the Fatip Grande version 1, the one prior to this one, which was more aggressive. This one is a little calmer, a little tamer. So we'll just see how well it does with this blade that in its youngness it could handle pretty much any razor. But in its age, it has smoothed out a lot, and for whatever reason, definitely prefers more aggressive razors. And there we go. I will go straight to the bowl. Yep, just kind of a fresh, clean, soapy scent. It's my opinion. I mean, it is citronella. In a more concentrated version, it's annoying. I find it a little bothersome as a scent. And I was glad that when it was that strength, it only lasted that way for a few shaves, and then it lessened itself to a point where it was enjoyable. And at this strength, it really does feel more like just a nice, clean, soapy scent. So we'll see see if there is a difference between the lather from the cold water soak versus the hot. I would think there would be. Heat is just so much better at softening up the soap, I believe. Yesterday I didn't have to add any water. Maybe I added 1 teaspoon. I don't think I did though. This one's looking a little on the dry side, so I may have to add a little water to it. So I'm going to fill up my syringe that I use, and it measures how much water. Just going to put a 1/4 teaspoon in. Don't want to mess things up. If you don't feel like watching this in real time, go to the play options, the gear icon on YouTube there. Hover over the video and it'll show up. Then go to speed, I think, playback, something like that. And you can put it at 1.5, and will save you some time. You'll still be able to understand some of what I say, and then you can switch it back to a normal speed whenever maybe the lather building is done or something like that. Let me show you the lather. So look at that. Look at that elasticity. Definitely not that thin, airy lather that Williams gives you in the very beginning. Another 1/4 teaspoon. Sure looks like a lot less lather than the hot. Let's just check it out. See if we have, how much cushion we have. Yeah, a little bit of cushion. The slickness is actually not as slick. So what we'll do is, Williams, one of the hard things about Williams is until you get your ratios down and you kind of write down what to use and your procedures, and you have you're in a known kind of situation where you've already recorded it and you know it's going to work out. Sometimes you can't tell whether you're before the point, whether you need to still add some water or you better quit adding water, because it's kind of thin before and after the peak time. So let's just use what's here and we'll just see what happens. This feels pretty thin. All right, a little more water on the face. This is cold, it's hard water. Williams does just fine in hard water. All right. This is very, yeah, this needs water. I bet I'll add some water in this. Wonder if I'll add some and it'll just kind of come alive. So I'm going to go right back to the bowl here after I added kind of a half a teaspoon of water. Could be that I let too much water drain out of the brush at the very beginning. Who knows? Okay, and then I'm going to add a few more drops there. That's better. So it looks like the Frank shaving brush might have more splay, kind of more airiness to it. It's very soft, just like the golden nib brush I used yesterday. Probably a little bit less backbone. Yeah, this lather is not doing very well. How about that? Let me, just for grins, I'm going to put a little bit more water in the bowl. Kind of put it on the brush. Wow, so the cold soak is a definite big time difference between the in the lather that you get. Big difference. Luxurious creamy lather, and I had 2 extra passes. That is not what I'm facing today. I've just got my first pass lathered up. It doesn't look all that great, and I've only got this much left. So how about that? But one cool thing about good soaps like Williams is that even when they're thin, they protect you with slickness. So let's see what happens. 72 uses. Looks like this razor is a fine fit for this aging Nacet blade. Doing really well. 1 day's worth of growth is kind of what we're shaving off here. Very thin lather. There we go. I'm just curious if this is even going to work. I'm just going to leave the soap on my face, not rinse it off. Try to get a little bit more soap on my brush here. Huge, huge difference. And now my bowl is pretty much empty. Come on now, I can't afford to lose any friends here. Very thin on my face. I could go back to the puck, get some more lather. But I just kind of want to drive the point home. The temperature of the water during and this was actually a few minutes longer than the soak from yesterday. So the cold soak even was a longer soak, and it doesn't come anywhere near the lather that I had yesterday. I'm also making the point that Williams is a good soap, and so I am nicely protected. I've got a lot of glide here. You can just see this lather falling off my razor here because it's just that thin. But I'm not getting any irritation. There we go. So the second reason for keeping on with whatever lathers I have available is to show you that you don't need all that much. All right, when you've got a good soap at least. All right, so let us just skip right. I don't even know if I have enough lather to do the job. And I have pretty much gotten out as much as I could. I think I might just be able to squeeze 3 passes out of this. Now, the one cool thing about Williams is that when the soap is, it's been sitting in that cup wet for several minutes now, you know, as I've been shaving. And so it has had a chance to open up even more. And so if I go to it now, I have always been able to pull up a wonderful, wonderful lather. Look how thin that is. And I bet it'll shave just fine. Let's just see. No tugging. comfortable so far. Able to kind of move pretty quickly, but I need to remember my technique. Let me look into this little area. This is my trouble spot right here. You can definitely tell that this is a more mild razor than the version 1. Pretty easy. Even though I used that one maybe a week ago, it was definitely more aggressive. And I am going to have to take and go back into the puck for that half pass shave. Just for a few seconds here, and that'll probably be plenty for me. And so there we go. Yeah, that feels good. I don't really like lathers that are this messy, you know, because you just get them everywhere and you just walk out of the bathroom with wishing you had a tarp on. So I usually don't go for this. All right. Didn't really get good cuttage from this little zone right here. So let's come at it again. With some strategic angles, almost against the grain. Cross grain really. But almost having some against the grain components. And there we go. We survived. I'm going to pause you. So I've got a few hairs in this area that still show some length on them. Pretty easy to see. And that's really kind of average for me with a lot of razors and a lot of blades. When I'm just shaving in the young blades area, you know, under 8 shaves per blade. Excuse me. Woo. So that's pretty significant. The lather was just nowhere near. It was half as much, maybe even 2/3 less, 1/3 as much as what I was able to generate with a hot soak and the same amount of loading. So I don't think the brush is different enough. They're both Silvertips. Where is the other one? I mean, they look almost identical. Both big Silvertip knots. And so I don't think the brush is the issue. They're both fairly young as well. So I think it's just the temperature. The hot water just caused that soap to open up and release more of its soapiness into the brush. Whereas the soap, it might take longer. I mean, maybe that's what it is. If you want to not use up hot water, then either load for longer or let it soak for longer, something like that. So that is interesting. And that's with a 1 minute load time. and no doubt it's because of the smaller puck. And so it moves around the bottom of the cup, not really letting you go over it, across it as much as it moves with the brush. So, wow, how about that? I don't know quite what I'll try tomorrow with this soap. Maybe longer load time for the cold, maybe no soak at all, and start with a longer load time and just see what happens. So anyway, there we go. I'm gonna start cleaning up. Putting on a little bit of a sharp dressed man. Almost like my son got into this mix. It's not. It's like he mixed it with water or something. A little weird today. A little more milky and less creamy than it usually is. All right. Good scent. Really like that scent. Don't have too much left. Have to pick that up again. One of my favorites. All right. So I don't have any irritation. It's a comfortable shave. The even a thin lather with a good soap is a very workable and very slick lather in this case. As I rinsed my face off at the very end, it was just slick, totally. So I felt protected. I mean, sure, a little bit more cushion, a little bit more body to the lather would have been better, but you know, it just didn't work out this time. And you know, I kind of saw it was going to go sour from the very beginning. And if you are in that situation, the easiest remedy is just go right back and load for maybe another 20 seconds in the mug, and that would have fixed everything right up. Would have creamied that lather up nicely. That last pass you saw, I just spent a few seconds with the mug and I had a much better lather than I had the whole time. And but I just didn't feel like doing that this time. You know, let's just play the lather out, and it worked. You know, you learn something that way when you're able to. So there we go, a little something for you. Hope it helps somebody out there. And it definitely helped me. A cold soak versus a hot soak is a big difference in the amount of soap you're able to impart into your brush. So there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care and good night.